Hey, we want to thank you for coming out to support our little flute circle. We are the Orem Senior Friendship Timpanogos Flute Circle. And we want to invite you to join the opening of our flute circle. So we are going to do a little rotation where you get to hear each one play individually for a couple seconds. So we're going to start with Dawn. Lynn. John. Marilyn. Sonia. And my name is Rolane. I'm the facilitator of the Timpanogos Flute Circle. What we play is called the Native American style flute. And the reason that we put style in there is because none of our flutes were made by Native Americans that have a Native American number. So because of the Antiquities Act, we, out of respect to the Native Americans and to give credit to those who first did the flutes, we call them Native American style. Our first song is going to be Canyon of the Winds. This is what we call freestyle playing. That's where we play from the heart. We don't have any sheet music for what we're about to play. Each person is just going to play what comes to their mind. So we will start with Dawn and work our way around. We'll go through this rotation twice. American style flute comes in very different flutes. There is a flute for every key on the piano. And a real true flutist is going to have a house full of flutes. Native American people teach their children about their traditions through legends. There are as many legends about how the first flute came about as there are people who tell the stories. I want to tell you my favorite legend of the Native American flute and how it got started. Long, long ago, there was a young Indian brave who was in love with a young Indian maid. Well, this young Indian maiden didn't even know he existed. He would ride on his pony through the campsite and he would do his tricks and try to show off for her, but she wouldn't even pay attention to him. She just ignored him. One day, all of the young Indian maidens were down at the pond and they were swimming and splashing and having a good time and just laughing and giggling. And this young Indian brave, he came and he saw the young girl there, and so he got up on the cliff and he dove off into the water trying to impress her. Well, she didn't even notice him. She never even looked up. Well, he was heartbroken. So he got out of the water and wandered off into the forest and wandered, and he come across an old dead dying tree. And he sat down against that tree and he heard this sound above his head. Tap, 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 tap. And he looked up and there was a woodpecker tapping on one of the dead branches of this tree. Tap, 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 tap. And the branch fell on the ground right beside the young man. So as he was sitting there, there was just a little bit of a breeze that came up. And while he was sitting there, he heard kind of a sound come from that old dead branch. He thought, well, that's kind of interesting, and he picked that old dead branch up, and he found that there were several holes on that branch that the woodpecker had drilled with his beak into the branch. So he picked that up and he put it to his mouth and he started to blow on it. He thought that was the most beautiful sound he'd ever heard. So as he sat there against that tree, he leaned back and he put that tree branch up to his mouth, and he just played the saddest song you've ever heard. Well, back at the pond, where the young girls were still swimming, the one young Indian maiden stopped and she kind of looked up because she could hear this most beautiful sound. She got up out of the water and started to wander and follow the sound until she came to where the young Indian boy was sitting against the tree. She stood there for a while and listened. Well, she listened, and she fell in love with the song that the young boy was playing, and then she fell in love with the young Indian boy. The Native American flutes are what they called a courting tool. When the young Indian brave saw a young lady that he was interested in and was in love with, he would make a flute and he would play that flute. And he would draw that young lady's heart to him. And once she was his, he would throw that flute away so that he wouldn't attract the heart of anybody else. So that's my favorite legend of how the Native American flute came to be. He's going to play in the key of G, Colors of the Wind. It's from the movie Pocahontas. We're now going to have a special solo by John Ottens, and it's to the backing track, Firekeeper. This is played in traditional Native American style. John's been playing this flute for the school kids for what, 20 years? He does a little mountain man routine and tells them a lot about the mountain men and things like that, but he starts out by just playing a little bit on his flute, and it gets the class really quiet. If you ever want to quiet down a room full of kids, there's the secret, because it works. Okay, the next thing that we're going to play as a group is Little Drummer Boy. Going to play a solo. Okay, Ghost Dancers played in traditional Native American style. Our last number is going to be Silent Night, and our flutes will play through once, and then on the second time through, we invite you to sing along with us.